Hello and welcome to beautiful Rebel Park in Newmarket, Virginia. Tonight, the homestanding Newmarket Rebels take on the visiting Covington Lumberjacks. We're going to kick it over to my partner, Jack Hurlbert, to give you the starting lineup for the visiting Covington Lumberjacks.
Happy to be here, Andrew. And leading off for the visiting Covington Lumberjacks is Luis Acosta. He's the center fielder today, followed by Caleb Ely. Please let me know in the chat if I'm messing up any last names. He will be catching tonight for the Lumberjacks, followed by Ray Yarrow, the second baseman, followed by Luca Mendez, the first baseman hitting cleanup, followed by Grant Smith, the designated hitter. He's followed by Bryant Zayas, the shortstop. Jaden Perez follows him, the left fielder. Isaac Lopez on third. And Tyler Tamargo, the right fielder, is in the 9-hole for the Lumberjacks.
And real quick, while the warm-ups continue on the field, the Rebels starting to line up tonight, leading off playing center field out of Embry-Riddle, Zach Banks. Playing shortstop, batting second out of Georgia Southern, Frank Wells. Batting third, playing left field out of UNC Wilmington, Matt Murchison. Batting fourth, playing third base out of Florida Atlantic University, Jaden Harriel. Batting fifth, playing right field from Southeast Missouri State, Joe Terranova. Batting sixth, playing first base tonight from Wharton Junior College, Gage Doris. Batting seventh, the designated hitter from Western Kentucky, Grayson Godby. Batting eighth, doing the catching tonight from Florida Southern, Josh Hines. Batting ninth, playing second base from Florida Atlantic University, Johnny Lopez. On the mound tonight, out of Louisiana Tech, we have Jackson Jones. He has completed his warm-up pitches and ready to roll. Acosta is in, and we're ready to get started here at Rebel Park. First pitch from Jones. Fastball in for a called strike. We are underway.
Start for the Rebels, good placement on that bottom outside corner.
One misses low and away.
Was Acosta a .306 average hitter for Arizona Western, the Matador team.
2-1 count on Acosta. That one misses up and away, 3-1. Jones, a lefty out of Louisiana Tech. Going to be throwing a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup tonight. Had a chance to chat with him for just a few minutes before the game. He was nice enough to share his pitch repertoire. I know we were talking about that earlier, but we narrowed it down a little bit there. Fouled off. I turned on the audio on our pitch tracker up here. Keeps telling me audibly. I don't know what I did. Full count to leadoff man Acosta. Ground ball gets packed. Pitcher Lopez has it. Fires across. He's going to be too late. Gets past the first baseman Doris. It'll be a single and an error on the second baseman Lopez.
Yep, not the start that the Rebels were hoping for there. Lopez kind of misfired there over to Davis, got past him, but gotta forget about it and focus up on second man up here.
Brings up the catcher, number 33, Caleb Ely. The Lumberjacks have a chance to score early. That 89-mile-an-hour fastball just missed for ball one. Rebels were in action here at Rebel Park last night, doing battle with the defending champ, Strasburg Express. Despite a large early deficit, the Rebels battled back and walked off the Express with an 8-7 victory. That one gets away from Hines. Runner will move up 90 feet.
The Lumberjacks knocking on the door early. Now the door is about to break down. Looks like they're getting ready to attack here. And
Jones certainly finding himself in a difficult situation. 2-0 pitch fouled off. Two one. Count. Beautiful night here in Newmarket. Couldn't ask for better baseball weather to start the season. That one just misses for a strike.
really, really close pitch
Or
there.
just misses for a ball. I
Ball,
apologize. Yeah. 90-mile-an-hour fastball catches the inside corner for a called strike. Nice pitch there.
Liking how Jones is early in this game. That error was not on him.
Now, it wasn't a hard hit ball either.
Not really.
That one misses up and away for ball 4. Lumberjacks have runners on the corners with nobody out in the top of the first. Medium-sized crowd tonight, not as big as last night, but tomorrow being a work day, maybe making the crowd a little bit smaller.
18 RBIs for Yarrow in the 26 campaign at Eastern Florida State. Let's see if you can up that. Maybe
First pitch high for a ball. Good velocity from Jones early, sitting right around 90 miles an hour, but struggling a little bit to be in the zone. Nice curveball for a called strike.
good placement. Jones is finding his groove.
Another nice breaking ball in for a strike. I think sometimes maybe you're missing with the fastball. You go to the breaking ball, helps you get on top of the ball, bring it down into the zone. A few nice pitches there, and get a strikeout here. You got a chance to get out of the inning without any damage if you could get a double play. Swing and a miss, 90-mile-an-hour fastball up and away. Down goes Jones for the first out.
Yep, that's a solid pitch. Kind of what the doctor ordered for the Rebels.
Gonna bring up Luca Mendez. Big lefty. Nice fastball, just misses outside. Didn't miss by a whole lot.
That's great placement.
Keeping an eye on the runners here as they are dancing around a bit. And that one's going to hit him on the elbow guard. So that'll load the bases for Grant Smith, the designated hitter. 1 out. Does increase the odds of a double play chance. Dribbled. Gonna be trouble. Down the third base line. It was in no man's land. It was gonna be an RBI single for Smith.
Yep, nothing really Rebels can do there. That's just a unlucky bounce and unlucky placement. Didn't fall, didn't roll foul, just stayed in there in the kind of a really hard spot to get.
I would describe that as a perfectly placed bunt, even though it was a swing. 1-0 now is the count. Bryant Zayas at the plate. Another one. 2-0. Jones has found some bad luck. 2 balls that had very low exit velocities that just in the right place to get in for hits. Nice curveball. Swing and a miss.
Yep, as you were saying, not the best start the Rebels were hoping for, but all things considered, the start against the Express yesterday wasn't the greatest start ever. And look what happened in that game.
Yeah, battled back. Walk-off win. Exciting way to open the home season. Another nice curveball. Rebels are 2-0. Opening night, 1-run win at Woodstock. 1-run walk-off win in the second game of the season last night, which was the home opener. Two and 2 to the batter, Zayas. Lays off a inside curveball.
Good eyes there from Zayas.
Full count, bases loaded. This one's got to be in the zone for Jones. Fastball, line drive into right field, going to score 1. They're going to hold the runner at third. Terranova's throw in, cut off by the first baseman, Doris. That was a hard hit single through the 3-4 hole on the right side of the infield.
Solid contact there. Good job on Terranova to get to that ball and get it out of his hand quick to stop the runner rounding second.
That's going to prompt a visit from pitching coach Mark Davis. Talked to Coach Davis before the game. Hoping to get about 3 innings out of Jones tonight, ideally. Rebels are kind of in a situation early in the year. Don't have a lot of starting pitchers that are really stretched out and still kind of defining roles. So getting a lot of shorter starts, 3-4 innings, probably going to be the norm, at least for the first half of the season. And then there might be a couple guys that go a little bit deeper into games.
And I think that's a good test for the Rebels early, getting these players to just do quick and get them kind of used to playing with the wood bats and Valley baseball.
Yadin Perez in the batter's box now. Left-handed batter. Swing and a miss at the first offering from Jones.
Good fastball there. He's been trying to find that pitch for entirety of this inning, really.
That one's floated out into center. Probably going to be deep enough to score a run. Throw's going to go into second. Runner in there just in time.
Perez did his job there. Sack fly.
That one's popped up on the infield. Johnny Lopez is under it. He's going to secure it for the third out of the inning. Lumberjacks scored 3 runs on 3 hits. There was 1 Newmarket error and 2 runners left on base. We're going to step away for a few moments, and we'll be back for the bottom half of the first. We're just about ready to get started here in the bottom of the first. Hunter DePriest on the mound for the Lumberjacks. Zach Banks going to lead off here for the Rebels. Third consecutive night playing in the outfield and leading off for the Rebels. Hard hit foul ball down the third baseline to get things started for Banks. Rebels have a large roster, 31 players already in town. Might see some fresh faces tonight, first appearances or first starts. That one's also hit hard down the left field line. It's going to go foul and just off the pavilion down there.
Good contact from Banks early.
Yeah, two fairly well struck balls, just a little bit late as they're down the third baseline. That one slow hit towards first, could be in that Bermuda Triangle. That is going to be an error on the first baseman. Got to the ball, slightly difficult play, but the pitcher was there in time. But the throw in the dirt.
Interesting start to this game. 2 errors on the leadoff hitter.
Similar locations, kind of, on the right side.
Well.
Going to bring up Frank Wells, playing shortstop tonight from Georgia Southern. Started first game against Woodstock at second base. Over to shortstop tonight. And first pitch hits him. Right off the left arm, he'll get to head on down to first. Banks moves up 90. Gonna bring up left fielder Matt Murchison out of UNCW. Matt, I would say leading the Rebels in hard hit balls through 2 games.
I'd agree. He's been swinging hard and putting it in play very well.
Left-handed batter shows bunt, takes up and away.
And I believe Murchison has the most amount of hits on.
That would track based on what I've seen. Got to watch him hit batting practice a couple times. Definitely one of those guys that kind of pops when you see him. Tries to bunt that time, fouls it off. One now. See if the bunt's still on. Playing here in the first inning. Swinging away this time, rope down the right field line, gonna hook foul. Another hard hit ball, but hooked well foul by the time it got to the ground.
Man, if he was a little bit earlier on that thing, that would have been points for the Rebels. That would definitely have been a run, maybe 2.
Yep, certainly could have been dangerous in that right field corner. Probably in triple land, if that's fair, with that kind of cut towards the corner and with the outfield positioning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball back to the pitcher. He's going to go to third. Fielder's choice. Banks is going to be cut down.
Good reaction time there. And interesting choice to take out at third, but whatever you got to do.
Hey, get the lead runner. Could have tried to turn the double play at second. Gonna bring up the third baseman, Jaden Harriel, making his Newmarket debut. Big right-handed hitter out of FAU down in Florida. Off-speed pitch misses high.
interesting to see how Harriel will respond. Obviously, this being first day here, he probably doesn't even know half the team. So interesting to see how he vibes. I'm not 100% sure if he's used a wood bat before even, so we'll just have to see how he performs today.
Always interesting for the first look at players, adjusting to wood, a new location. Lots of these guys haven't traveled that far sometimes. FAU out of the American probably did a decent amount of traveling during the school year, so maybe more well-traveled than some, but now I picked one of his teammates up from the airport, and he said it was his first time ever in Virginia, so.
Time for everything.
Last night got pretty chilly at the ballpark, especially for the Southern players. But lots of hoodies going on in the stands. That one's looped into shallow right field. It's going to drop for a hit. Hit softly enough that Wells is going to come around to score no problem. So Jaden Harriel with the RBI single on his first at-bat.
Talk about a good start. We talked a little bit about how this is a new environment that he's in, and just a great tone setter there for the young man.
Softly hit ball. Murchison had to hold up to see if that was going to be caught. Definitely one that was kind of hard to tell exactly how far it was going to go, so he stopped at second. First and second, 1 run in. Joe Terranova at the plate had the RBI walk-off walk last night. There were a lot of walks in that game.
A lot. There were also a lot of walks in the Waynesboro-Covington game last night.
Ground ball hit fairly hard to third. Gonna step on the bag and throw across in time. That's gonna be a 5-3 double play. Rebels score 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, 1 runner left. Tyler Tamargo will lead off the top of the second for the Lumberjacks on the other side of this break. Tamargo in for the Jacks. Jackson Jones still on the mound for the Rebels. Rebels trailing by 2 after the first inning, 3-1. First pitch is a fastball. Didn't miss by much.
Interested to see how Jackson Jones will be able to bounce back if he can after, I wouldn't say an inning that was his fault. A couple of unfortunate placements on, but thing to see if he can strike out a couple more.
2-0 now on to Margot. Check swing. Appeal down to third, they say he went. Early action down in the Rebels bullpen. We did mention that Jones not expected to go deep in this game. Kind of a bullpen game style, if you want to call it that. Swing and a miss.
Yep, that's a good pitch by Jones. Count and staying in it.
2-2 curveball looped into left field. Murchison with a sliding, lunging grab out there. Nice play by Matt. First out of the inning.
Wow, what a play by Murchison. He was moving to go get that thing, and he laid out for it. It might have not been in the camera. I'm not 100% sure.
It's kind of right on the edge, maybe just out. Murchison came in about 25, 30 feet, running kind of diagonally in and towards the foul line. Half slid, half lunged at the ball, made a nice running catch.
Just a baseball player's move, athletic.
First pitch to Acosta is a strike, 0-1. Nice curveball at 77, fouled off at the plate. Right-handed pitcher Adler Holtz up in the Rebel bullpen. That one's lined just past Wells into center field for a hit.
I was just about to say 0 hits in yesterday's game against Waynesboro for Acosta. Great hit there and a good start for him.
Almost took Jack out there. My chair tonight is a little bit tippy. Gotta be careful. Caleb Mealy at the plate, runner going, shows bunt, throw down, not in time.
That was an awkward bounce there. Good job by Lopez to reach out and grab that and prevent another base being taken.
Yeah, nice scoop. Throw was a little bit short and a little bit on the first base side of the bag. Stolen base for Acosta. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. First pitch to second pitch to Mealy up and away, ball 2. Crowd is filled in pretty well on the Newmarket side, the third base side of the field. First base side, the Covington stands a little sparse tonight. Understandable, Sunday night, a little over a 2-hour drive from Covington. Nice curveball in for a called strike. Covington is the southernmost team in the Valley League. Definitely leads the league in miles traveled every year. Meanwhile, Newmarket right in the middle of the valley. Newmarket is the southernmost team in the North Division. So most of our away games, we travel north up Interstate 81. Rio misses for ball 4. Miley works a walk. Umpire having a quick discussion with Jones out on the mound. Not sure what that was about. 1 out. Runners on first and second. 3-hitter Euro in the box. Swing and a miss.
That was a big swing. He was twisted around the other way. You know that he is not hitting for a bloop here.
Was not cheated on that swing. 0-1 lined into right. Terranova charging. They're sending the runner. Kicks off of Terranova's glove. Gonna be a single for Euro.
Yep, much like the first inning for the Rebels, just unfortunate, untimely mishaps. Obviously, Terranova hoping to get that one in his glove, just bounces out and allows the run there for Lumberjacks, and that'll do it for
Jackson Jones. His pitch count was getting a little bit high. Not sure that the misplay out there in right field really affected the play. I think probably would have ended up in the same situation because that throw would have come home. Certainly could have been an error, but new pitcher for the Rebel is going to be number 15, Adler Holt.
Now the mound for Rebels from Florida Southern. Adler Holtz.
Adler comes to the Rebels from Florida Southern. That means he is pitching to his battery mate from school and here in the Valley. Josh Hines, also from Florida Southern. Check the comment section while we have some time here. Thomas Simmons, welcome to the broadcast.
talked a little bit about short-term pitching here and how this might be a short pitching battle for the Rebels with a lot of different faces taking the bump. Holtz at Florida Southern appeared in 4 games and posted a very impressive 3.86 ERA in those 4 outings.
You know,
6
he's
strikeouts.
eager to get some more innings this summer. Did well with his limited opportunity, but gonna get a lot more chances here, I think.
See if he can keep that ERA the way it is, looking good.
Yes, indeed.
I'm liking what I'm seeing in these warm-up pitches.
Rebels did get some reinforcements today. 4 new players in town, 3 of which are pitchers. May even see some of them in the game tonight. Luca Mendez will be the first man to face Adler Holtz. Runners on first and third, 1 out. Swing and a miss. Your Holtz, you'd love to get a ground ball double play here, get out of the jam real quick. Strikeout would also be optimal for Rebel fans. Like the runner's going. Throw is faked to second, and Hines puts it in his pocket. It'll be a stolen base for Euro.
The good test for Holtz early against Luca Mendez. 18 hits on 24 games played for the Bucks of Berry University.
One. Off-speed pitch fouled away. So Holtz ahead. 1-2. Still some action in the bullpen out there. Nobody throwing, but lots of stretching and moving around. Nice off-speed there that must have just missed outside. Good pitch, though.
Really, really close, and you could hear some sighs of disapproval from the crowd in Newmarket after very, very close pitch.
That one's lifted into deep right center field. Banks is back. It is off the wall. That is going to clear the bases. Mendez with the 2 RBI double.
Solid contact there from Mendez. That's just what you're looking for in a baseball player, be able to drive in those runs.
Yep.
Good solid hitting for the Lumberjacks early in this
Screaming
game.
line drive off the Utz potato chip sign. Rebels, of course, very thankful for all of our sponsors that adorn the outfield fence here at Rebel Park. I invite you to visit those sponsors if you happen to be in town. First pitch to Smith is lown away for a ball. Second night in a row, the Rebels find themselves in a big early hole. I'm not mistaken, it's the same 6-1 score as last night. Popped up on the infield, Holtz is under it and squeezes it for the second out of the inning. Not all that often you see a pitcher make the catch on a pop-up.
Yep, and that's a good little change of momentum there. A quick P1. And hopefully the Rebels can get out of this jam without giving up any more runs, stopping the bleeding here.
Bryant Zayas going to step in now. Right-handed hitter. Foul tip on the first pitch. Well, if we learned anything last night, it's that early deficit is not going to put the Rebels out of it. They showed some spirit in fighting back against what is historically one of the strongest teams in the league. Fouled off at the plate, 0-2. So Holtz 1 out away from, or 1 strike away from getting out of this second inning.
Tough start for the Rebels bullpen. Let's see what they do to respond in this next inning defensively. Hopefully a big inning on the horizon hitting-wise for the Rebels.
Swing and a miss. Holtz strikes out Zayas to end the inning. But the Lumberjacks score 3 runs on 3 hits. There were no Newmarket errors and 1 runner left on base. We'll be back to see the Rebel debut of Grayson Godby on the other side of this break. Gage Doris going to lead off for the Rebels here in the bottom of the second, coming to us out of Wharton Junior College in Texas. In the hole, second baseman over, able to scoop it. Doris busting it down the line, but not quick enough. Quickly, 1 out.
And what a play by Yarrow on his high horse. Gets over there and gloves that thing. Looks like a snow cone in the tip of his glove and gets over to Mendez at first for out number 1.
And here is Grayson Godby out of Western Kentucky making his Rebel debut. Big right-handed hitter. Probably see him playing some third base for the Rebels, but playing in the designated hitter spot tonight.
Yep, another one of those players, first time. Just got here in Newmarket today, if I correct.
That is correct. Came in about 3:30 this afternoon and quickly found himself in the lineup. Rebels doing their best to spread around the opportunities. Talked a little bit earlier, but 31 players on the active roster tonight. Been fun to watch through the first two games. Gives that opportunity for head coach Charlie Shepard to mix and match, pinch run, pinch hit, defensive substitutions late in the game, trying to work all of these players in and give lots of opportunities across the board. 2-1 to Godby is up and in. That's a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right at you.
And he had to jump out of the way, kind of back.
Three-one count on Godby. Fouls off another heater from the Priest. Runs the count full. We got 3-2-1 across the scoreboard. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Line drive off the pitcher's glove. Godby trying to bust it down the line. The Priest able to recover in time to throw it over to first.
Yep.
And retire Godby for the second out of the inning.
2 high effort plays by both Yarrow and DePriest. Priest had to scramble to get that, but he gets over there in time and swings it over to first.
Godby may have tripped a little bit going down the line. Could have been a little bit closer, perhaps. Brings up Josh Hines, the Rebel catcher. First pitch to him is bounced in there.
Good job by Miley stopping that bouncing ball. Sometimes those ones that go in the dirt and out or something. Rack.
Big sweeping breaker in for called strike 1. Ground ball to third. Fielded cleanly. The throw across is in time. Hines is retired 5-3, and the Rebels go down in order. Jaden Perez will lead off for the Lumberjacks in the top half of the third after this quick break. And Adler Holtz is ready to begin the top half of the third. Aiden Perez in the box for the Lumberjacks. Pops the first pitch up. It is going to get out of play over the Rebel dugout. That one misses outside for a ball. Be interested to see how Adler does with a clean inning here, not coming in with anybody on base. Always a little bit rougher for a pitcher.
Good chance to refocus and restart here.
He is throwing out of the stretch even with nobody on base. Usually a sign of somebody that's used to being a relief pitcher. Don't even bother with the windup. Fouled straight back at us. Holtz does have a little bit of a leg kick, though. He gets the leg up, so they're not really losing much power or anything being in the stretch. Public address announcer gives a shout out to the Rebels bat boy, Bryce Jones, son of president of the New Market Rebels, Mike Jones. Swing and a miss, strike three. Holtz strikes out Perez to get started here in the third.
Yep, that's one that Perez is definitely going to want back. He obviously had a pretty bad reaction when he swung and missed that. Got a little piece of it, but no avail. That'll be a swinging strikeout.
That'll bring up Isaac Lopez. Ground ball to third. Harriel's got it. Pumps and throws across. That is in time for the second out of the inning. One pitch, one out there.
Good play by Harriel.
Our first defensive look at Harriel. I think we'll also see him playing some first base for the Rebels this summer. First pitch to Tyler Tamargo is up for ball one.
And this third game will be Tyler Tamargo's first start for the Lumberjacks.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. Yeah, starting to get to the point where we'll be able to actually look at Valley League stats and appearances and have them mean something. A lot of times after one game, there's only so much you can glean, so we lean on college stats or perfect game profiles to get information on players. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Holtz.
Two straight pitches downstairs. Good placement there. Maybe finding some kind of weak spot in his swinging game.
That weak spot has Holtz one strike away from getting out of the inning here in the top of the third. Fastball popped foul over our left shoulder. Press box at Rebel Park is located about 120 feet behind home plate, almost directly back, but slightly offset to the left. Pretty much what you see on the pitcher-catcher view is what we see when we're looking in there. That one's fouled off. Speaking of that pitcher-catcher view, shout out to our producer tonight, Brandon Whitaker. He's on the camera angles for you all. And feeds us some information from time to time. Called strike three on the off-speed pitch. Nice backdoor breaking ball. And Holtz gets through the top of the third in 1-2-3 fashion. Johnny Lopez going to lead off for the Rebels in the bottom third on the other side of this break. And here we are for the bottom of the third inning.
Jonathan. Okay.
Johnny Lopez leading off for the Rebels. This is his second appearance after getting a pinch hit last night, or a pinch hit appearance. Then a 91, but missed outside for a ball. That one also just outside.
That one a little bit closer to the strike zone than that first one, but good solid pitch overall.
What I would call a competitive pitch. It's a ball, but it's certainly one that makes the batter think. That one's roped into left field, deep down the line. It's going to hook just foul. I think it cleared the fence, had home run distance from Lopez, which is pretty impressive. Opposite field down the line. We are a little bit blocked for left field from our viewing position. We have to lean way forward to get any look, and even then the dugout cuts off kind of the lower part there.
Lopez was late on that pitch. I think he knows that and got to settle in here. Count.
Borderline pitch called a strike. That one honestly looked pretty close to the one that was called a ball earlier in this at-bat.
This was the MLB. You'd see a lot of ABS challenges.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Lopez goes down swinging. That'll flip the order for the Rebels. Back to leadoff man Zach Banks.
And Banks made it to first on that first baseman error, that E3 earlier today. Let's see if he can get a hit here.
Goes bunt, takes a ball. Banks has showed bunt or attempted to bunt quite a bit in his first run here in Newmarket.
He certainly got the speed for it.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of your speed. Use the tools that God gave you, right?
Exactly.
Saw that Valley League legend Bob Weiss is in attendance tonight. Longtime player and coach. I think he may be in the Hall of Fame as both a player and a coach.
That's an impressive feat right there.
Played for the Rebels at one point, and then was the longtime manager of the Harrisonburg Turks. 20 minutes south or so from Newmarket. 2-1, swung on and missed. 2-2. I believe this is actually first summer that Mr. Weiss has not been a coach or player for quite some time. I expect we'll see him in attendance here in Newmarket a good bit. That one's chopped up the middle, fairly well hit. Banks digging down the line. Can't quite beat it out. Nice play by the shortstop.
Yep, good play by Isaias there. Been quick, athletic play, get it over to first.
Yeah, any bobble or double clutch, and Banks would have been able to beat that one out. Brings up Frank Wells. Shortstop out of Georgia Southern. Off-speed pitch inside for ball one. That one finds the zone for a called strike one.
Good pitch there by DePriest. He's staying strong in the top of the third here. Or, excuse me, bottom of the third.
That one's lined into left field. Should be down for a hit, and it is.
Good solid line drive there from Wells. I believe that is his first of the season.
Been on base a few times, but I believe that is his first hit. Bring up Matt Murchison. Rebel left fielder already had a nice catch game. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. Lifted in the air to center field and reeled in by Acosta. That will end the inning. Rebels get no runs on one hit. There were no Lumberjacks errors, and one runner is left on base. After 3 complete here in Newmarket, it is Covington 6, Newmarket 1. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Luis Acosta leads off the top of the 4th for the Lumberjacks. Adler Holtz still on the mound for the Rebels. First pitch is in and misses for a ball. That one finds the zone, called strike. Check swing, heel down to first. First base umpire says no go. 2-1. Strong contingent of fans out in the left field tailgate zone tonight. Fouled off. A lot of Rebel host families tend to hang out just beyond the left field wall. The grassy area up there, kind of slanted. Nice place to watch the game. They sit in the back of their trucks and bring their grills and have a good time. That one misses for a ball. Sometimes I wonder if the wiffle ball games out there aren't more competitive than the game on the field. Some little leaguers really getting after it. Full count now on Acosta. That one's grounded, fouled into the Rebel dugout.
Well, Florida International Baseball Academy coach Jeff Howard had a few words to say about Acosta, that they're proud to see him move on. He's got a high ceiling, and Arizona Western College has a great track record for getting these kids ready for the next level.
That one's grounded hard down the third base line. Harriel has it on the backhand. Strong throw across. He got him. Very strong defensive play from Harriel.
Wow, that thing went all the way around the diamond, and a great stretching play by Davis there to love it. But wow, what a baseball play right there.
Yeah, Harriel fielded it on the foul line, on the backhand. Threw it all the way across to Doris at first base for the first out of the inning. First pitch to Miley, lifted into right field. Terranova is under it and squeezes it for the second out of the inning. If I could, I would put a star beside that Harriel play, but I'm doing a digital scorebook, and that is not possible. Euro up now with nobody out, or nobody on and 2 outs. First pitch is low. Getting close to the point where the lights are really necessary here in Rebel Park. Sun slowly going down. Mountain is going to start to fade away out beyond the outfield fence.
Like you said about those lights out in the outfield, they take a little while to warm up because they're the old school lights. Be getting there. Pretty nice. Still got a little bit of light left in the sky. They will be ready by the time it's gone.
And 3-0 pitch misses low for ball 4. They are a little bit older lights, but they, if I'm not mistaken, are actually the tallest lights in the league.
I didn't know that.
They're certainly up there. I know at one point they were rated like that you could play up to a AAA game at this ballpark. I would imagine that's probably changed with the popularity of LEDs and stuff these days for the light shows and all that, but
Good pitch there. Strong here in the top of the 4th.
yeah, really been a stabilizing force out there on the mound after a bit of a rough start for the Rebels tonight. No action in the bullpen, so runners off. Pitch is a wild pitch. Won't be recorded as such since the runner was on the move to start the play. It is a stolen base, but otherwise did get past the catcher Hines. So stolen base for Euro puts him in scoring position with 2 outs. Had a big jump, even a clean catch and throw probably wouldn't have had him. Misses just outside.
Andrew, we've seen a lot of these miscues. It's not exactly as much of hits. It's a lot just more of errors and just mishaps that have caused this lead to get so lopsided early, but don't count out the Rebels just yet.
Ground ball to second. Lopez fields, throws across. The 4-3 putout ends the top half of the 4th inning. No runs on no hits. There were no Newmarket errors and 1 runner left on base. We'll be back with Jaden Harriel leading off for the Rebels.
Double. One. Take it. Oh.
Jaden Harrell going to lead off for the Rebels. And how often do you see a great defensive play followed by a nice hit? I feel like there's a correlation there.
Momentum. It's a little bit of momentum and confidence. You get one good play and then follow it up with another hit. Let's see if he can do it again.
I have a feeling he's going to do something positive here. Chopped up the middle, slow, fielded by second base. Over to first for the putout, 4-3. And my feeling was incorrect, but who knows? Maybe later in the game, Jaden will have a chance to do some damage. That'll bring up Joe Terranova, the right fielder.
Well, you said you felt a nice play coming, but it was on the other side. Great play by Yarrow to collect that thing and send it over to Mendez.
Yep, nice play on the slow chopper to second. Breaking ball in for a called strike to Terranova, who grounded into a 5-3 double play in his first at-bat. Swings that one in the dirt there for strike 2.
Terranova probably wants that one back. That's a tough pitch to swing at.
Joe's had a little bit of a rough start here, but I have faith that he's going to come out of it. He's too good of a hitter to not get going here before too long. We are only in the third game after all. Has a lot of experience. I think he's played 3 years of college baseball already. Takes a ball there, 2-2. Had to wait a second on that one. Was wondering if he was going to get rung up, but missed inside. Full count.
And man, that was mighty, mighty close there. Really close to a looking K there for Terranova.
That one is up and in. Ball 4. Terranova works a walk. Great at bat. Bring up first baseman Gage Doris.
And good job to Terranova after swinging that pitch in the dirt to recover and refresh and draw the walk. Good job by him.
Doris, a left-handed hitter. Pretty quick getting down the base path. First pitch is in the dirt. Nice play by the catcher, Ely, to keep that one in front of him. Lifts this one in the air on the left side of the infield. Zayas is over, and he's got it. P6 for Doris.
I think you could go up to the top of that mountain and still hear Zayas calling for that ball. He was barking to Lopez that he's got it and he's under it.
Love to see it, especially early in the Valley League season when these players are still getting to know each other. Clear communication. Grayson Godby gets his second at bat of the night. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Chopped on the ground to third. Low roller. Gonna take a good throw. He's beating it out. Godby busts it down the line and makes it to safe. safely to first base on the chopper.
Yep, good athletic play by Godby, getting down the line quick. And that ball appeared to bounce in that same exact spot that it has been bouncing. It was bouncing there yesterday against Strasburg, that end of the infield on near the first base side, and it bounces there, loses all momentum, and tough read for Mendez to make to keep it in front of him. But
Made a nice scoop. Throw across was a little bit low and ultimately late, so Rebels have runners on first and second with 2 outs. Josh Hines has a chance to do some damage, and that's going to be a wild pitch. Ball gets past Mealy.
and that's just a good moment for the Rebels. Now they got them 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. 1 hit here can do some damage for the Rebels, help them get a couple back.
Yep, Hines has a big opportunity here. Jonathan Lopez waits on deck. 1-0 pitch. Foul off of Hines' foot in the batter's box. I think a hit here would really do wonders for the energy in the ballpark. A little bit stagnant at the moment with the 5-run deficit, but I think the Rebels fans are just waiting for something good to happen. And the energy will reappear.
Certainly a little quiet, but Rebels have the people here to get the momentum back on their side. And like you said, big hit here would get the crowd back into it, and then that makes it that much tougher for Covington to hold on to this lead.
Absolutely. Priest, the Covington pitcher, has generated a lot of ground balls today. Weakly hit kind of choppers. Must have some sinking action. His 1-2 pitch to Hines, again chopped and goes foul.
And you bring up the chopping balls and the, not heavily hit. That could be because of the wood bat. That could be a big change for him. Maybe he's still adjusting to that. I talked with Coach Ty Martin, obviously. He said it's a little bit of an adjustment for most players when it comes to the wood bat league. So,
Absolutely. Another 1-2 pitch to Hines. Breaking ball taken for strike 3. And one moment, we'll give you the inning summary.
and that was as
No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base in the bottom of the 4th for the Rebels. We'll be back with the top half of the 5th inning in just a moment. Grant Smith going to lead off the top half of the 5th inning for the Jacks. Still Adler Holtz on the mound for the Rebels. First pitch is low for a ball.
The Coyote of College of Southern Nevada. 16 hits on 26 games played.
Pops it up on the infield. Doris is in and squeezes it for the first out of the inning.
Good play by Doris calling that thing. Not as loud as Zias's call earlier, but still letting everybody know that it's him.
Fouled straight back. Breaking ball backs Zias up, but didn't miss by much.
And looking at the statistics for Zias, he seems to have gotten the most action out of all the players on the team at his college of Lynn University, the Fighting Knights.
The Fighting Knights.
The Fighting Knights. Before that, he attended Miami Christian School.
Called strike, 2-2. He's from that part of the country. I bet he's played against some Rebels before. Strong Florida contingent for Newmarket this year. 15 players out of the state of Florida.
Almost feels like all the baseball players in Miami got together in a conference and said, let's pick which summer league team we're going to go to, or summer league, excuse me, we're going to go to. And they just spun a wheel, almost landed on the Valley Baseball League, and now they're all here. And interesting stat to, think about how many people there are from Florida, Miami especially.
Yeah, Miami, bit of a hotbed of baseball talent. Hard hit ground ball to short. Nice scoop by Wells. Just in time on his throw across to get him. Bang, bang play at first. Good speed going down the line for Zias, but not quite enough. He is retired for the second out of the inning. Brings up Jaden Perez.
That's a good, quick 6-3 play there for the Rebels.
First pitch popped up down the third base line. It ends up in the Rebel grandstand.
I think that's the first foul ball of the season that landed in the grandstand itself. I haven't seen much of that this year.
I think you're right. Balls tend to carry over the grandstand. Breaking ball doesn't quite make it back to the plate.
Mighty close, though. Talk about painting the corners. Definitely did it again.
Like we were talking earlier, that was a competitive pitch, just not quite a strike. Fastball fouled straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And Perez hit a sac fly on Friday against Staunton in that, I believe that was a win. As they're 1-1.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Perez goes down swinging. 1-2-3 inning for the Rebels. We'll see Johnny Lopez leading off on the other side of this break.
Starting top of the 5th. Lopez.
Hunter DePriest back out for his 5th inning of work. He'll do battle with Johnny Lopez, the Rebels' second baseman here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Had the dash for cash on the field in between top and bottom half here in the 5th. Oh, 1 pitch is outside. Lopez struck out in his first appearance tonight. Takes that one inside for ball 2. He's ahead in the count.
Johnny Lopez, 2025 6A 15 All-District Team second base pitcher, and he was 2025 7A 14 Hitter of the Year. 369 hitter at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, Fort Lauderdale.
Pretty highly rated prospect coming out of high school. Attends Florida Atlantic University. He's ahead in the count, 3 balls, 1 strike. That fastball finds the inside corner. That one's in the dirt, and Lopez works a walk. Leadoff man is on for the Rebels, who are looking to cut into their 5-run deficit. Zach Banks, the center fielder and Rebel leadoff man, is in.
2 Florida natives back-to-back in Lopez and Banks.
Shows bunt once again and takes a ball. Seems like maybe he likes to do that on the first pitch of the at-bat, get a good look at the ball coming in, and then he's ready to go.
I've seen that a few times. Miley was up in a hurry to try to gun down Lopez.
Good bunt towards the third base line, slightly fumbled by the pitcher, but manages to get it over the first in time. One to 3 on the sacrifice. Lopez advances to second.
Well.
And Wells has an opportunity to drive in a run.
Banks doing his job there, pushing Lopez over. Would have been bonus points if he got to first and made it there safe, but that's all right. Still, runner on second there in scoring position now for the Rebels.
I think considering the game situation, almost certainly was trying to bunt for a hit, with the added bonus of that if you do get thrown out, it's a sacrifice. Wells takes a ball. Almost a cheat code for a batter. You guarantee to not take a negative outcome. You get the bunt down. It's either a sacrifice or a hit.
It's a win-win.
That one way up and in. Is that behind his head?
I almost looked behind him, I thought.
It
I was about
may
to
have
say
been
that.
behind his head. I gotta admit, I have sleepy eyes tonight after a late one here at Rebel Park last night, but I do believe that was behind Wells. Really kind of difficult for a hitter because you instinctively want to go backwards, and sometimes you actually back up into that when the ball is pitched behind you. Not exactly sure what just happened. Must have been
Might have been a
Pitch-
balk.
a pitch clock violation.
Pitch clock.
I thought there was only 2 balls.
It was a pitch clock violation.
Pitch clock violation results in a Wells walk. Bit of an odd one there, but Rebels will take it with 2 runners on. Don't have the fancy pitch clock display here in the Valley League, but umpires are timing the pitchers the old-fashioned way. Matt Murchison with a chance to do some damage. First pitch is a fastball at 88 miles an hour just off the plate.
Dare I say, this is the best chance for the Rebels so far in this ball game.
Certainly is up there. And based off of early results in the year, Murchison probably the guy you'd want up there with a chance to drive in a run. Has worked his way into that 3 spot in the lineup. Fouls the 2-0 pitch back. Out of play. That one's up and away, ball 3. With 2 men on that have both reached via the walk in a 3-1 count here, got to wonder if DePriest is maybe tiring a little bit at 65 pitches here in the bottom of the 5th. That one's low, ball 4, and the bases are full of Rebels here. For Jaden Harriel.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see a pitching change here. I see a good amount of movement, people grabbing their gloves and gates swinging open out in the Lumberjacks dugout, or excuse me, bullpen.
We are indeed going to get a pitching change. We'll take a quick break while we identify that pitcher, and we'll be back with you momentarily.
one. Jaden. Ariel.
We're back, and Jaden Harriel is in the batter box to face Enzo Gurgle, the new left-handed pitcher for the Lumberjacks. Bases full of Rebels. Chance to do some damage. First pitch misses outside for ball one. Rebels with a 5-run deficit, but a golden opportunity to cut that down here.
Enzo Gurgle, an interesting stat about him. He was originally committed to LaSalle, but flipped his commitment to Miami-Dade. I wonder the story behind that. There's really no coverage about it.
Hard to say. Seems to be a lot of movement these days. Coaches change and players flip, or maybe they get a better offer. Four-pitch walk to Harriel. Will get the RBI for taking 4 balls in a row. And Joe Terranova is going to get his, I believe, 4th at-bat of the season with the bases loaded, and only his 2nd game.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat, and this looks eerily similar to the Strasburg game last night in the bottom of the 9th.
5.
Absolutely. He
Nova.
drew a walk with the bases loaded in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th to literally walk off the Express. First pitch is a called strike. It's on the lower outside part of the zone. Like a pretty big hole over on the right side of the infield between first and second. That one's up for ball one.
The Rebels aren't shy to watch pitches. 4th in the Valley Baseball League in walks and 3rd in on-base percentage.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Yeah, a lot of the Rebels' runs have come with timely hitting and very patient approaches. Now, David Pena already drew all 6 walks in the first 2 games. 1-2 count now on Terranova. Timeout. That one's low for a ball, 2-2. Joe really has a chance to get this crowd into this game if he can deliver a timely hit here. Fouls that one off. More or less straight back. Had it timed pretty well.
And you heard the crowd, even after the walk came home, they were really loud, like they were up on their feet. So, you know, just imagine what a big timely hit, like you said, could do here.
Newmarket, smallest town in the league by a fair margin, a little over 2,000. That one's lined over the third baseman's head into the left field corner. 1 run's in, 2nd run coming around to score. Rebels are going to cut their 4-run deficit in half with a 2 RBI single for Joe Terranova. Had to pause briefly as that line drive was low and just over the outstretched glove of Isaac Lopez at third base. Big time hit for Terranova. Good play by the outfielder to cut that one off and hold him to a single.
Gabe Torres.
And you talk about timely hits, Andrew. That was huge, and the Rebels faithful are back up and back excited into this game.
Very much still a ball game here. That one hits Doris in the head. That ball bounced over the backstop and into a neighboring yard off the deflection of Doris's helmet. Doesn't seem to have shaken him up at all. I have to say that's the first time I've ever seen that big of a deflection off of a player's helmet.
Great hit.
Grayson Godby, designated hitter, is due up, but we have a mound visit coming. We'll see if they stick with Gurgle or decide to go to the bullpen. There is a righty throwing out there. I expect that if Covington made the move to a right-hander here, we would see a counter move to a left-handed pinch hitter.
I would agree. I think that
With the depth on the Rebel bench, lots of options. Last night in a similar situation, saw Coach Shep go to Mario Magana, big-time hitter out of the University of Miami. Looks like they're staying with Gurgle for now. First pitch to Godby misses. First day in Newmarket for Godby, but he has a chance to be a big-time contributor here with the bases loaded, only one out. Has hit the ball on the ground in both of his at-bats so far. Would like to see him elevate it here if he gets a ball to hit.
Yeah, I was just about to say if he can get a ball to hit, maybe he could elevate it, but he hasn't really had that opportunity yet because
2-0 pitch on the way. That one's in there for a called strike.
well, that one looked like it could be swung on there. That's an interesting take from Godby.
Well, you're ahead 2-0. You can afford to take a pitch if you don't feel like it's
Yes, you
your
can.
pitch.
Yes, you can.
2-1. Breaking ball is in the dirt. Godby holds the hand up, telling runner over at third to stay put. Ariel on third, Terranova on second, Doris on first. Terranova represents the tying run. Doris represents the go-ahead run. Catcher for Covington is out to chat there, and a visit is charged. Big 3-1 pitch coming to Godby with the bases loaded. That was called a strike. Godby had already tossed his bat and was heading to first.
Well, we saw that yesterday at Strasburg where the umpires are a little bit delayed in their strike calls, and some of the Newmarket players kind of throw their equipment ready to make the walk over to first, and they're given a bad sign back from
Full
the
count
umpire.
pitch, fouled off the catcher. It's one of those ones you're probably better off waiting to make sure, but understandable if you're pretty convinced it's a ball. Thankfully, I think we've largely moved on from the days of umpires really taking it out on players for things like that, but there may be some old school feelings still around here or there.
Certainly.
Here's another full count pitch to Godby. That one is clearly up and away for ball 4. He will earn his bases loaded walk. Yet another runner comes across the plate from a bases loaded walk. Seems like the Rebels have had that as a habit here early in the season across multiple games. And we're going to get another pitching change as this is the second visit here. So Josh Hines will have to wait to take his turn. We'll take a quick break while the new Covington pitcher heads in from the bullpen, and we'll be back. All right, we're back just in the nick of time. Took us a minute, but it is Carlos Menzueta on the mound. And first pitch is a wild pitch. Runners are going to hold. Good hold as that came back off the backstop, almost right to the catcher. Shout out to the Covington coaching staff. They did let us know before the game that Menzueta was wearing a different jersey tonight. Otherwise, we would have been extremely confused. Wearing number 6 tonight, typically number 30. That one's lined into right field. That's going to be a hit. One run's in. Second run coming around from third. Throws going to third. Diving play. Safe. Safe at third. So that is a 2 RBI single for Josh Hines. Godby makes it all the way around to third. Doris scores. Terranova scores. And the Rebels have taken the lead after a 6-run bottom of the 5th, and they're not done.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, I can't believe it. Just a six run bottom of the 5th here for the Rebels. Just a great momentum switch, and it feels like a new game.
Johnny Lopez is in, looking to do some more damage. Runner still on first and third. Josh Hines on first. Godby on third. Close play at third, but Godby was safe after a headlong dive. So 2-0 on Lopez. Takes a fastball down the middle for strike one.
And Menzueta was actually clocked on YouTube throwing 97.
That's some heat. I'll try to get a reading here if he puts one in the zone.
I've been checking
That one,
the
92.
92, yeah. I've been checking the radar gun just to see if he's living up to that video, but an
Would say it
interesting.
didn't necessarily look that fast,
It did
which
not.
is, sometimes it's deceptive in how the catcher catches it too. With line into left field, that's a base hit. Another run gonna be in. RBI single for Jonathan Lopez. Hines moves up to third. Godby scores. Big bottom of the 5th for Newmarket.
And Andrew, my scorebook is completely maxed out for the bottom of the 5th for the Rebels. We've gone all the way through the lineup, and now I have no way to write it down, so that's an indicator of a good inning for a team.
Absolutely. Thankfully, I'm running the digital scoreboard and don't have that problem, but I feel for you. First pitch to Banks is swung on and missed. So runners on first and second. Rebel leadoff man Zach Banks in. That one's outside for a ball. Rebels have already pushed across 7 here in the bottom of the 5th and looking for more.
And going back to that Menzueta 97 miles per hour video, the pitch was not in the strike zone. It was in the dirt. Almost looked like the catcher had to kind of jump out of the way. So interesting to see if he can try to find the zone with a pitch like that.
Swing and a miss there from Banks. That one came in at 90 on our radar. Certainly throwing hard. Kind of makes it look easy too. That's why it's a little deceptive with how fast it is, I think. So 1 and 2 on Banks. Chopped foul.
That's a quality foul ball right there. Not your pitch. Foul it off. Do not take that strike.
Menzueta taking his time, but he's ready for the 1-2 pitch. That breaking ball like almost fell out of his hand. It's going to be a wild pitch. As Bob Euchre would say, just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside, exactly.
So Hines moves up to third. Lopez to second. That's going to prompt a mound visit from the catcher. It also takes away the chance at a traditional double play.
Back to the top of the order now. Banks has been up for a few pitches, but he is the leadoff man.
Covington has the infield in here, playing on the fringe all the way around. Misses outside with a 91-mile-an-hour heater. So full count on Banks. Frank Wells waiting on deck. That one's down the middle and fouled back. Good at bat here from Banks. Fouled off a couple tough ones. And worked a full count after being behind 1-2. Line into right center field. That one might get all the way to the wall. It is cut off. Might have a play at second. Banks is in with a diving double. He drives in two. Rebel bats have come alive here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. 2 RBI double for Banks. And 9 runs have scored for Newmarket.
Well, sometimes you like to compare baseball to other sports. Let's compare it to boxing here. The Rebels have the Lumberjacks on the ropes and are just bang, bang, bang. Headshot, headshot after headshot. 9 runs in the bottom of the fifth.
And still looking to do more damage with a runner on second and only 1 out. Frank Wells at the plate, Murchison on deck. Called strike. Manzueta really bringing the velocity, but the Rebels are catching up with it and turning it around.
Yeah, what contact from Banks. That thing was moving.
Almost made it all the way to the wall in right center, despite being a low line drive. Margot did manage to cut it off, but it was on the warning track, and Banks made it into second with his speed. 0-1 taken for strike 2. Nice pitch there from Manzueta.
Yep, good little pitch on the inside corner. Hard to make really any contact on that. The only thing you can really do on a inside corner pitch is just kind of watch it go by.
Yep.
And pray that the umpire's merciful.
0-2. Almost sounded like it might have hit him. Gets past the catcher. May have been the ball deflecting off the catcher's mitt that we heard. Or foot. It'll go down as a wild pitch, and Banks is now 90 feet away from being the 10th run to cross the plate for Newmarket.
Yep, that's, I think if my math's correct, that's 3 wild pitches this inning, so.
Can't afford another one here. 1-2 fouled off. Wells stays alive. Always interesting with the scoreboard that shows the score by inning. When you get to 10, it has to flash 1 and 0 back and forth. It does not have room for double digits. 1-2 to Wells. Takes an outside fastball. That one came in at 90 miles an hour.
Yep, he's putting the heat on. He's just missing it in the strike zone. So I don't know what you can speculate to do to find the strike zone, but not to sacrifice that speed. But you got to find that balance there.
2-2. Popped up, fought off a breaking ball.
And it seems like every single pitch from Manzueta is. It seems like the high velo pitches are missing, but the breaking pitches aren't working either. So there's really nothing that he can do except just keep trying and just keep pitching.
2-2 to Wells. Over his head, ball 3. No action in the Lumberjacks bullpen, so this game is Manzueta's for now. As I say that, I think there is now action in the Covington bullpen. See a catcher
Yes, there
head
is.
bobbing up above the fence.
Spoken into reality.
Full count pitch to Wells is up and in. That one was up near his head. Ball 4, he draws the 1-out walk. And the string of Rebel base runners continues. Coach Shepard giving some signs over at third base. Wouldn't be surprised to see Wells steal a bag here. Matt Murchison at the plate. Rips it to deep right center field. And Tamargo is able to reel it in on the warning track. Banks is going to come in to score. That had plenty of distance for the sac fly. Off the bat, thought it had a chance to get out of here. But Murchison does the job, hit the ball hard. Wells stays put at first. Banks comes in with the 10th run of the inning for Newmarket. Wells still at first, and Jaden Harriel now at the plate. Rebels have gone from a 5-run deficit to a 5-run lead in 1 inning.
Now that's a good pitch there. 78, it appeared to clock on the radar gun. That was an off speed that worked out.
Yep, found the zone. Sometimes we were talking about it earlier. It helps you like get on top of the pitch and get it in the strike zone. Wells is off, had a good jump. Mealy going to put that one in his pocket. He kind of double clutched and then decided it just wasn't worth the attempt. So Wells has a stolen base and he's in scoring position for Harriel.
Yep, I think that was a smart move by Miley.
That one's popped up down the right field line. 3 Lumberjacks converging. Second baseman is going to ultimately be the one that makes the play. Euro reels it in. P4. But the Rebels scored 10 runs on 4 hits. There were no Covington errors, and 1 runner is left on base. After 5, it is Covington 6, Newmarket 11. We'll be back for the top of the 6th inning after this. Isaac Lopez going to lead off for the Jacks here in the top half of the 6th inning. Adler Holtz back on the mound after a long break from that prolonged bottom of the 5th inning. See if he can overcome the stiffness of sitting in the dugout for that long. Good problem to have if you're him, but can be an obstacle.
Yeah, you got to do anything that you can to keep your arm loose when you got a big offensive inning going for your team. Anything from stretching to band work to practice throws. But it seems to be working for him right now.
Yeah, doesn't seem to have phased him as he's ahead 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. He strikes out Lopez to start things off here and keep the momentum firmly in the Rebels' favor.
Yeah, what a dominant pitch there. Just showing the corner, escorting him out.
Hit hard into right field, but it's going to hold up for Terranova. He's got it. And quickly 2 down in the top half of the 6th.
The crack of that bat sounded like trouble. I looked up from my game notes pretty quick when I heard that thing. But Terranova gets under it and takes care of business.
Yeah, hit it fairly hard, but just not in the right place. Here is Luis Acosta. Takes the first pitch for a ball. Hard hit ground ball. Wells has it on a dive, gets up, not going to have time to make the throw. Excellent stop, diving up the middle, but no chance with Acosta busting it down the line. That'll bring up Caleb Mealy, Lumberjacks catcher. Gotta wonder if he might be feeling a little stiff after squatting for that whole bottom of the 5th inning.
It's not easy.
First pitch is fouled off.
You'd know that being a catcher for a little while in your
You have a
your
little
early
history
days.
as a catcher if you go back
Exactly.
far enough. I always liked being there because you're so involved in the game. A lot of,
Exactly.
if you're playing the outfield, especially at a young age, you might not get that many fly balls. Infield, you might sit for innings upon without touching the ball. But catcher, you're in it from start to finish.
I was always jealous because I did play a little bit of catcher in Little League. I was always jealous of the other teams that had the nice knee pads that they could clip to the back of their leg equipment, and so they could give their knees a break. We did not have that on our Little League team, so after I was done catching, I could barely walk.
Pickoff attempt at first. Costa is back in safely. I remember having similar feelings, although you really don't see that at a high level. I think they would just get in the way. Of course, like we're seeing right now, a lot of catchers have taken to actually kind of sitting on one knee.
Yeah, different stance. We were always taught just the normal basic squat, both legs. None of this new stuff. All these new guys sound like an old guy, old baseball, old baseball. fan
My
back in day.
understanding is that it's easier to frame when you're on one knee, like to make it look better for the umpire. And that's why it's become so popular with pitch framing and buy-in strikes. Ground ball up the middle. Lopez has it. Throws to first in the dirt. Nice scoop by Doris.
Nice pick by Doris
And
there.
Holtz gets through another inning with no damage. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We'll be back for the bottom half of the 6th inning. Joe Terranova going to lead it off for the Rebels here in the bottom half of the 6th inning, holding on to a 5-run lead. That one is low for a ball, 1-0. Shout out to those interacting in the chat. We see you. Keep it coming. We like to know who's watching, where you're watching from, who you're pulling for.
Always good to hear it. Terranova 1 for 2 on the evening with 1 hit on 2 at-bats.
Came up with a big hit in the last inning. Swings and misses there, and he's behind 1-2. Do think we're probably going to get a pitching change for the Rebels here after this inning. It looked like Holtz got the old head coach handshake on his way into the dugout, but we'll see. That one's up and in.
I mean, but what a game for Holtz, man. He was throwing fire, kept his head, just honed in, focused, and just a great game for him. I'm not going to be surprised if we see more of him in the future. A more than decent amount.
Terranova tries to hold up, but he goes around. He will be the first out of the inning with a strikeout.
Gage Doris.
Bring up Gage Doris, the first baseman. Takes that one low and in.
And Gage was hit by a pitch that went flying away last inning that got another extra runner on the base for the Rebels.
That was a memorable play. I
Yeah.
can see myself talking about that one in the future.
Yeah,
Ball deflected off his helmet, over the netting behind home plate, and into a neighboring yard. Probably 160 feet off the helmet.
Incredible.
Fouls that one straight back. Timed it up well, but was a little underneath it.
Seeing Manzueta use that almost looks like a rising fastball a couple times. I think that is what caused that ball to get sent back into the safety net.
That one rises right on up out of the zone for ball 2. Two fouled off.
Like this at bat from Doris. He's just staying alive, waiting for his pitch. Baseball 101. If you don't like a pitch fouled off, get yourself a new one.
Absolutely. Still a 2-2 count on Doris. 1 out. Playing in the bottom of the 6th inning. Rebels have a 5-run lead. That one's off his leg. Dribbles up the first baseline in fair territory, but will be a foul ball.
Yep, that one looked like it smarted. He took a couple steps there. Seemed to be limping just a tiny little bit, but I think all is well for Doris. Steps back in, gets ready for this 2-2 delivery.
Backdoor breaking ball called, strike 3.
I think Doris was waiting for another fastball that would maybe go a little bit high, just like it's been landing in the catcher's glove, but kind of gets him by surprise there looking, and he
Here's Grayson Godby, designated hitter. Godby, big, tall, right-handed hitter. Looks like he could yank one into the bullpen pretty easily. For context, Rebels bullpen is down the left field line just over the 322-foot marker. Swing and a miss. In both corners for about the first 75 feet or so, the fence is about 4 feet tall, and then the rest of the fence 8 feet tall or so. Broken bat flare out to second, caught on the fly. That'll be an L4 for Godby. After the big fifth inning, the Rebels are going to go down scoreless here in the sixth. We'll be back for the top half of the seventh in just a moment. Ray Euro in, face new Rebel pitcher Zach Stitchway, who immediately fires a fastball in for called strike one. We have additional defensive changes for the Rebels. Now playing shortstop, Eric Torres. In at second base, Maddox Land. And taking over in left field, Matthew Murphy. Stitchway quickly ahead, 0-2. Coming out of Charleston Southern. The most recently arrived Rebel actually got here about 5 o'clock today. Soft ground ball to shortstop. Torres has it, throws across. 6-3 for the first out of the inning.
Oh, Torres tested early, and he lives up to it, and he proves that he's got it. Nice athletic play, getting on his horse and getting over there to near second base and firing it over to first.
Yep, nice play. Coming in cold, only had a little bit of time to warm up. Luca Mendez into called strike. That fastball registered at 89 on our booth radar gun. Ouch. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Fouled off. It caught either the catcher or the umpire.
.392 on base percentage for Mendez at Barry U. Bucks.
Called strike 3, breaking ball, caught the outside corner. Got a look from Mendez on that one.
Yep. Don't want to make a big noise to the umpire here. This late in the game, you might get, not exactly sent to the showers, but I think you'd get a good warning, maybe a timeout for a couple games.
Ditchway quickly has 2 outs and he's ahead 0-1 against Smith. Off speed, fouled off.
What a great start for Stitchway. I mean, it's really, really great to see like this Rebels pitching working so well as it is. Holtz to Stitchway doing great.
Oh, 2 pitch. High fastball taken for ball 1. Called strike 3. That's a 1-2-3 first inning for Zach Stitchway. We'll be back in just a moment for Josh Hines.
Back in New Market, Josh Hines up for the Rebels. Pitch down in the dirt, bounces. Hines 1 for 3 on the evening. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, that's driven to left field. on his horse is Perez.
Did not make the catch. Caught it on a one, I guess like a short hop. And Hines has a double.
Yeah, hard to see in that on that angle, especially from my vantage, but nevertheless, a double.
Kind of fell in the Bermuda Triangle out there between
Exactly.
left field, shortstop, and third base. Left fielder Perez, they caught it, but
Definitely in the
looked
blind
like it was
spot.
kind of a trap
Yes.
situation. I have a slightly better angle. Back does.
But a double for Hines.
Now Maddox Land batting for the Rebels, entered as a defensive replacement in the previous inning. Takes the first pitch for a strike. That one's just a bit outside. You can hear a plane flying over Rebel Park here. We're lucky, later in the season, might even have a flyover. Something that we try to work out once a year or so. Balls, one strike. Outside.
That's a really close pitch there.
Always impressed when a player that's been on the bench, just itching for a chance to get into the game, gets in that bat and they can maintain plate discipline, not just up there hacking away. And Land draws the 5-pitch walk. He'll trot on down to first base. The Rebels have 2 men on with nobody out in the bottom of the 7th. Brings up Zach Banks, the center fielder. Swing and a miss. Eric Torres, the new shortstop, is on deck. Runners are going. Throw down to second for the trail runner. Gets past the shortstop's going to go into center field. Josh Hines is going to come in to score. Maddox Land is going to advance to third. So that'll be stolen base, stolen base.
The Rebels now doubled over the Lumberjacks in this contest after that unfortunate throwdown that could not be gloved.
That's the 12th run of the night for the Rebels. Melee, the Lumberjacks catcher, will be charged with an error on the throw into center field that allows Hines to come in and score. Land on third with nobody out. And Banks behind in the count, 1-2. Takes that one for a ball. Covington is playing the infield in, right on the fringe of the grass all the way around. I always found that a little bit scary as an infielder. That ball get on you quick. Outside, ball 3. That one kind of looked like it fell out of his hand.
Yeah, you talk about the infield in, especially you got to keep your head up because a fly ball could come and catch you in the face if you're not paying attention. So at all times when you're playing baseball, but especially during infield in.
Definitely cuts down that reaction time. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, down and in. And here is Eric Torres.
That's a big first out for the Lumberjacks to kind of set the tone here in this inning, and hopefully, if you're a Lumberjack player, close out the Rebels quick, or fan.
Lumberjacks keep the infield in. Torres had 2 hits in the opener at Woodstock. Was not in the lineup yesterday and gets into this one about halfway through. Going to see a lot of shifting across the infield here. A lot of talented infielders on the Rebels roster, so they'll all get their chances, but still working through what the pecking order is going to be as we get deeper into this season. Coach Shepard has a tough job with too many good players to choose from, but so far we've seen lots of chances with pinch runners, pinch hitters, everybody getting an opportunity to contribute. Swing and a miss. Torres is going to go down swinging, second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up Daniel Murphy, or Matt Murphy, not Daniel Murphy. That's a major leaguer. Matt Murphy, who came in as a defensive replacement in left field for Matt Murchison. Murphy is a returning Rebel, was a 2025 Valley League All-Star. That is a wild pitch. We're going to have a play at the plate, pitcher covering. And he may be injured as he awkwardly came across home plate. Nope, he hops up. He's all right. Did trip a bit there.
A little bit upset, but he's all right.
So Land does come around to score. Pitch was a ball, so it's 1-0 on Murphy. Now nobody on as the Rebels have stretched the lead to 7.
Good pitch, that fastball. Seems like it's starting to lose a little velo on it. He's starting to get a little bit tired, it seems.
Manzoeta at 53 pitches. But hanging in there for the Jacks, eating some innings. Early in the season, you never know what the pitching situation might be across the valley as far as number of available pitchers. Might have to stick with a guy longer than you otherwise would just to get through some games. Valley League does use pitch smart guidelines, so mandatory rest based on the number of pitches that you threw. Fouled off. This season, the Valley League playing a 36-game schedule, and all Mondays and Tuesdays are off days. So 2 days off for the Rebels after this one. So don't have to worry too much about your relief pitchers as far as availability for the next game.
Yep, having a couple days off is a good chance to refresh and kind of, regroup as a team. Obviously, Newmarket's been off to a pretty good start. Obviously, 3-0, all things considered, this game continues the way that it is going. Knocking wood.
Certainly been a hot start for the Rebels. They are looking to go 3-0 if the 7-run lead holds here with 2 innings left to play. Line drive off Manzoeta's glove. I think Murphy is going to beat that one out for a hit. Hard hit ball just to the pitcher's left, stabbed his glove out, deflected off the glove, then trickled about halfway between the second baseman, Euro, and Manzoeta, and neither of them could get to the ball in time.
This is where frustration kind of starts to set in for Manzueta. You have a tough play at the plate that you can't get the tag on. Now you get that ball directly in your glove and just pops out. Just unfortunate.
Tyler Martin entering as a substitution here for Jaden Harriel. Hard hit ball down the line. Ooh, just foul. Just foul. Martin bidding for extra bases with that one. When I say just foul, we're talking
Inches.
an inch, if that.
Very, very close.
Hard to tell even if that may have been over the bag. Certainly was close. 0-1 now. Called strike. Tyler enjoying having his dad as in the first base coaching box. I bet that's happened a time or two before, coming up through Little League and high school. And a swing and a miss. He goes down swinging for the third out of the inning. Rebels scored 2 runs on 2 hits. There was 1 error and 1 runner left on base. We'll be back to get things going in the top half of the 8th inning in just a moment. We're back. Zach Stitchway is still on the mound for the Rebels. Shortstop Bryant Zayas batting for the Jacks. Goes bunt, takes a ball outside. Swing and a miss. Hitting the 2-hour and 40-minute mark of this game, tracking to be about a 3-hour ball game.
That's
Called
a great
strike.
pitch.
Stitchway, a guy that actually got quite a lot of run during the college season, so coming in sharp. Awkward looking swing, but fights off a nasty breaking ball. Good job there from Zayas to hang in and stay alive. If I was just a little bit more sleepy, you might have gotten a verse of staying alive, but not quite there yet. Sounded like a broken back grounder to third. Martin's up with it, throws across. Nice defensive play there. That'll bring up Jaden Perez. want to give a shout out to the first Rebel reliever of the night, Adler Holtz. His final line was 4 2/3, only 2 hits, no runs, and 5 strikeouts. Currently in line for the win.
What a great performance from him. I mean, you're looking for a pitching performance, especially in a game like this, looking to go 3-0 on this young campaign, and man, he steps up and delivers.
Absolutely. And in a kind of a situation where the momentum was not in his favor.
Exactly.
With the
as I
Rebels
recall.
trailing
Yeah.
6-1 early. Now leading 13-6. 12 unanswered for Newmarket. Rebels looking to have a 3-0 start to the season, which would have them in first place in the Valley League's North Division. Rebels almost at full strength now roster-wise, with only a couple more additions expected in the near future. That one misses for a ball. Perez will reach. Lumberjacks in a situation they're just looking for base runners.
That's all you really can do when you're down by this many runs. Just kind of get runners on base and just try to start a little something. With, 1 out, they still on the table.
It's a wild pitch. Perez will advance. Torres out there tried to deke him into maybe going for third. Jumped up like the throw was coming. One 0 fouled straight back. One across the top of the scoreboard. Strike. Have action in the Rebel bullpen now, so maybe somebody else finishing this one off, despite good work from Stitchway so far in his debut here in Newmarket. Didn't quite get on top of that breaking ball, and it stays up and in. Looking around for my roster. And get the ID on the pitcher out in the bullpen. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Lopez goes down swinging.
Yep, that's just a great pitch downstairs. Really no chance there for Lopez.
That'll bring up Tyler Tamargo. Looks like almost died. My chair is missing a wheel, and I've almost eaten it a couple times tonight.
Chair's eating your lunch, man. I said it during the break. I'll say it now.
The swing and a miss for strike 1. Up in the Rebel bullpen is newly arrived Micah Simpson, left-handed pitcher from UNC Wilmington.
And what a pitch there. Goes from downstairs on Lopez to upstairs.
This way, bringing that fastball in the low 90s. A lot of velocity on this Rebels team this year. Expecting out of players that were signed on opening day, about 15 pitchers that can get up into the 90s. And a couple that are not too far off of it. Velocity, not an end-all be-all, but certainly doesn't hurt.
That's definitely a plus.
I would say there's been a couple rougher outings for one or two Rebel pitchers that have led to a few runs scoring, and even some of those were not so bad of outings.
Mhm.
Like I think Jackson Jones tonight had a little bit of bad luck that turned into some runs, but there's been some dominant performances in relief. Jansen Kenty shut down Charlesburg last night. Situate looking really good tonight. Adler Holtz almost 5 scoreless, and a swing and a miss. Situate gets through the 8th inning without any damage. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 runner left on base. We'll be back for the bottom half of the 8th inning in just a moment.
All right. Right fielder. Go.
Joe Terranova leading off for the Rebels. New pitcher for the Lumberjacks, Luke Richards out of West Virginia Tech. Check swing. First base umpire says he went. I'd like to see a study on how many check swings are called a swing as the game progresses, because I think the umpires get to a point where they're ready to go home.
This game's certainly been going on for a couple minutes now, and pretty, might I say, lopsided score out in left center field.
That's a ball, and it's 2-1 on Terranova.
Interesting stat about Terranova. In 2 games so far, he's 2 for 6 with 2 hits, 1 run, 3 RBIs, and 2 walks. A very productive hitter for the Rebels.
Called strike. Edge of the zone. Two and two now on Terranova. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Terranova goes down. That'll bring up first baseman Gage Doris.
Good pitch by Richards there. And in 2026 for the West Virginia Tech Golden Bears, he had a 4.15 ERA on 5 appearances. So when he gets that moment, he's known to take it in and produce well.
Ground ball over to first. Going to be a race to the bag. And the pitcher Richards wins the race by half a step. Be a 3-1 putout. Going to be a pinch hitter here. Jonathan Mallow going to pinch hit for Godby. That one's bounced in there. Like maybe a cleat caught or something. And that one was kind of spiked in front of home plate.
When you're pitching, if your cleat gets caught, that's a killer. You know, that'll ruin your delivery and really everything about it. All bets are off really when you get your cleat caught or anything messes up during your unleash.
That one misses just outside. 2-0. Yeah, it's rough when you feel confident in your footing and then it doesn't work out. And it's kind of scary when you're like, ah. Two-0 on Mallow, the pinch hitter. That one's up and in.
If you're Richards, you just got to focus up here. You give up 3 straight balls. Obviously, you don't want to surrender a 4-pitch walk, but just try to find your way back into this battle here against Mallow.
And he draws a walk. Mallow, a 3-time Rebel, his 3rd summer here in Newmarket, and has had a very productive start to this season.
Yep, like I said in the last broadcast, good for Newmarket to have a familiar face and kind of an identity player, and good for the players on the team, the new guys, to be able to look up to a veteran.
Absolutely. And that pitch misses for a ball to Josh Hines.
Hines has had his first 2 hits of the season tonight, them being a 2 RBI single and a double. So, productive night for him. Let's see if he can keep it rolling here into the coming weeks.
Feels like the bats are starting to heat up for the Rebels. They've scored some runs, but largely off of patience and walks.
Just like I said last night, after the game was over in Strasburg, patience, ability to stay in that count and use your eyes to determine what to swing at, what to take, and it really helped him against the Express, and it's helping him now.
Called strike. So Hines behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Hines, a member of the Florida Southern College baseball team. His teammate happens to be Alder Holtz.
Who is in line to pick up the win tonight for the Rebels.
Indeed.
That one's Just a bit outside. Breaking ball low in the dirt. Hines has worked it back to a full count.
That's the difference between winning and losing, especially in these games. Not exactly in a game like this with a runaway, but having that eye and being able to stay alive in the counts are really the difference between people on base, people not, and extra runs and none.
Check swing. Strikeout swinging for Josh Hines. No runs, no hits, no errors. One runner left on base for the Rebels.
All right, Lovely. No runs.
Wow, we have a quick second. We want to share a quick word about our Swing for Health partner, Diabetes Reversal Group. 16 years helping type 2 diabetics reverse their disease, and now they're right here in the Shenandoah Valley. Even if it's not you, you know someone. Keep an eye on the NewmarketRebels.com or look for the QR code spread out throughout Rebel Park to get more information. The Diabetes Reversal Group. We're back for the top of the ninth inning, and we have another new Rebel pitcher making his debut. It's number 23, Micah Simpson. Simpson joins the Rebels from UNC Wilmington. He is a left-handed pitcher. Called strike. May have crossed up his catcher there. Probably just met each other literally right now.
Yeah,
So
just a couple minutes ago.
little cross up can happen. Simpson arrived sometime around 4 o'clock this afternoon to Newmarket and finds himself in a game 6 hours later.
Talk about into the fire.
Fastball up, 2-2. That one misses for a ball. Pinch hitter. Good catch there. Can't see a number. It was 25.
DeAndre Jones is the pinch hitter.
And he lined that pitch into center field for a single. Sorry for the delay there. We was a little bit late picking up on that pinch hitter. The hectic press box between innings. Caleb Mealy, the catcher. Yep.
Interesting stat about Jones. He was drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 17th round of the 2022 MLB June Amateur Draft. And he hit 2 home runs and drove in 10 runs in the 2023 Florida Complex League. And he just stole a base.
Wild pitch.
On a wild pitch, excuse me.
That's all right. You were down reading the story. Eyes down. That was a wild pitch from Simpson. A little bit up. So 2-0 count on the Jacks catcher with a runner in scoring position. That fastball's just in. 3-0. Simpson, a two-way player at Wilmington, actually had more appearances as a hitter than he did as a pitcher.
Good eye there from Mealy.
Draws the walk, and the Cannons have a little bit of traction here in the top half of the 9th inning. They need base runners, and they've got 2 of them.
That's your first step if you want to sneak your way back into this game. Just get people on base and see what happens. Nobody out, 2 people on.
Still a bit of an uphill climb with a 7-run deficit, but got to start somewhere. That one must have just missed.
And if that was a miss, that was by the skin of somebody's teeth.
Check swing, no swing.
Another quick conference from the pitcher-catcher duo that likely just met a few minutes ago, as you discussed earlier.
Getting things figured out. Loving the chatter in the game chat. Hopefully as the season continues on, we'll get even more interaction. We'll jump in and chat with you there as well as online if we get people in there. That one's hit hard into center field. Banks is back, might have a beat on it. He does, reels it in just short of the warning track, and he's going to get it in quickly and hold the runners where they were. See if getting that first out helps Simpson settle in a little bit. He's one that he He did pitch for Wilmington, but it's been a while since he's had game action on the mound, so sometimes it takes pitchers or position players a little bit of time to get back into things if they haven't been in game action for a while.
Jones didn't really even move at all on that fly ball, just kind of went right back to second. Really no thought of trying to tag up and take third.
First pitch to Mendez is a ball. With a 7-run deficit, a lot of good things have to happen anyway, so it's better to play it safe, not risk a crazy throw from the outfield and getting an out when you're going to need several hits or walks behind you for anything good to happen anyway. It's time to be risk averse as a base runner. This is outside 2-1. Crowd has thinned out considerably as we pass 10:30 Eastern time here in Virginia. Rebels were the latest start time today. All games at Rebel Park start at 7:30. Very difficult to play between 5 and 7 here at Rebel Park with the sun setting directly behind home plate. 3-1 pitch was close, but misses for ball 4. Cannons are going to have or not the Cannons, apologies. The Lumberjacks are going to have the bases loaded with 1 out here in the top of the 9th. There is some action down in the Rebel bullpen. A little bit of just in case tossing, nothing too serious yet.
Well, like I said, if you want to try to kind of sneak your way back into this one, they have checking all the boxes here. Load those bases up and just see what can happen, get some momentum. It's a pretty big at bat here.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Jacks would need 3 more runners to reach base in order for the batter to represent the tying run. So still an uphill battle, but they're giving it a good run. That one's fouled off down the first base line, just gets over the fence over there. Fencing down the first and third base line, about waist height, green board fence. Kind of that traditional baseball green that you see at Fenway or Wrigley. Swing and a miss at a high fastball that was out of the zone.
Yep.
Simpson collects his first Valley League strikeout. And all of a sudden, we're down to 1 out to go.
Yeah, that's a pitch that, like I said, and I've said it a couple times this game, Smith wants that pitch back. A lot of these players have been chasing pitches outside of the zone, and
Excuse me, check swing grounder back to Simpson at first. He throws to first, it hits the runner and gets away. That'll be a throwing error on Simpson. It was a tough play as a pitcher. He's lefty, he had to spin and throw and hit the base runner in the back. Mendez ends up on third.
don't usually see an E1, but
2-run score. Perez at the plate now. First pitch to him, called strike. Score now 13-8. Wing and a miss. 0-2. One strike away here for Simpson. Breaking ball is fouled off into the netting in front of the home bleachers. Pretty hard hit. Lifted into left. Banks makes a headlong dive, can't get to it. Gonna be a single. Play at second. And they cut the runner down at second base to win the game. Perez tried to get greedy and take second on that ball that fell just in front of the center fielder. And he is out at second base. Does get the single and 1 RBI
Lumberjacks.
as Mendez scored on the play. An unearned run. Wrapping things up, we will give you the winning and losing pitchers. Winning pitcher in this game is going to be Adler Holtz, who came on in relief of Jackson Jones, pitched 4 2/3 innings, allowing only 2 hits and 1 walk while striking out 5. No runs in 4 2/3 innings. And taking the loss is going to be Enzo Gurgel. He will fall to 0-1. Doing that off the top of my head, looking at the box score. So if I was wrong on the loss, we'll double check that. But looks like that's what it's going to be. Rebels up their record on the season to 3-0. Any takeaways from this one?
Well, that's a solid, grimy win. That's a team win. And, you know, that big bottom of the 5th inning for the Rebels obviously is the factor. But later down the stretch, you're going to need to be able to find a way to stretch out your runs across multiple innings. You know, some of those eventful innings are going to be a little bit less likely and, you know, frequent as we get further down the stretch. So great win for the Rebels. I'm hoping to see a few more runs stretched out because you got 1 and then you got 2 scoreless innings, or 3 scoreless innings, then you got the 10, and then you only got 2 more runs, and then that's it for the rest of the game. Without that 10-run inning, you only score 3 runs. So I'd like to see more runs across the game, but still, nevertheless, great win for the Rebels tonight.
Absolutely. Second night in a row, the Rebels erase a 5-run deficit and come back to be the victors. Some housekeeping. The Rebels were originally scheduled to play an exhibition game here at Rebel Park on Tuesday night. That game has been canceled. So the next time we'll see you, Wednesday night home game, as the Rebels are off the next 2 days. Wrapping things up from here in Newmarket. Final line score for the Jacks, 9 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. For the Rebels, 13 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. We will see you on Wednesday night. Have a good one.